Hello everyone, I am Komal Mehta, teaching as an assistant professor in CSC department at St. Andrew Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon. Today in the series of system development, we will cover about what do you mean by a feasibility, how to determine that, and what are the information gathering tools to collect information. So let's start with feasibility. Feasibility study is a process that identifies, describes, and evaluates the proposed system and select the best system among them. So there are so many systems available in a project, but we have to select the best one solution above them. Then we have to find out is it feasible or not on the particular job. So during this study, the problem definition is solved and all the aspects of the problem should be included to determine whether the accuracy is created or not. That means whether the requirement we estimate is appropriately improved or not. There are so many parameters to judge that. For example, cost, the size of a product, and the benefit we are expecting. So these are the parameters to judge whether the project is feasible or not, or we can say whether the job is feasible or not. So the result of a feasible study is simply a report which contain a formal document that contain all the solution and the scope of the proposed solution. There are so many types of a feasibility study. So let's discuss one by one. First is technical feasibility. It deals with assessing the whether the staff has technical expert to understand and use of new technology or not. It determines that whether the proposed system is technologically available or how can we integrate within an organization. This will done with the help of technical expert. So this is mandatory feasible. Next is economically feasibility. The purpose of accessing economical feasibility is to identify whether the financial benefits and the cost associated with the development of a system exist or not. So we can say it is known as a cost benefit analysis as well. To carry out economical feasibility study, it is necessary to estimate actual money value against the activity needed for implementing the system. Let us suppose we are purchasing one thing and that is of a cost 500 rupees and then sell out in 1,000 rupees. Then we have a profit of 500. But if I am purchasing this the product in a 500 and selling it also in a 500, so there is no benefit at all. So we have to consider the benefit that we actually invested and that we actually get. The comparison between these both is known as economical feasibility. Next one is operational feasibility. It concerned with human organization and political aspects. There are two ways to including this feasibility. First one is technical one and next is accepting within the organization. So technical performance deals with whether the system can provide right information for organization personnel at a right time and at a right place, because the information that we get at a right duration is appropriate, else after the task will done and we get information at that duration is irreliable for us and non benefit for us. Next is acceptance within an organization. It determines the general attitude and job skills of the existing personnel or whether any change in a job work will be accepted by the current user or not. So these both are the ways to include the operational feasibility. Last one is behavior feasibility. It deals how strong the reaction of a staff will be toward the development of the new system, that they will accept that one or not. If they are accepting, then the behavior is positive, else they will negative responded. After feasibility study, the feasibility report will be created. So to determine whether the feasibility exists or not, we have to determine so many ways. Feasibility study is one of the important phase in the development of a software. As we all know, this is the main part in a life cycle. So the step is taken once the developer gather all the requirements from the customer. Once the requirement analysis process will be done, and the whole process will be done. Then we will check whether the process is feasible or not, whether the system is working appropriate or not. This will done after gathering the information and also after implementing the system. So all these requirements are studied out and final list of the requirement is made. Once this will be done, a client may or may not be a technical person. They give so many requirements. They may be contradictory. So we have to manage according to the actual requirements. That's why feasibility study is required. After organizing and summarizing the data, analyst has knowledge of a system. So there are some following informations are should be available to organize the data and to check whether the process is feasible or not. What are these one? First one is interview. With the help of interview, we can get the system is done in a proper manner or not, with the help of structured or unstructured manner both. Updating system documentation, because the new proposed solution must be mentioned in the updated one. With the help of flowchart, we can correlate all the modules with each other so that we know actual modified version of the existing one. Next is specification of a goods and a bad feature. What are the pros and cons? We have to know about that, because every system must have their own cons, whether this is the new one or a already existing one. So what are these one? We must aware about that. Next is understanding how well actual problem facing the system, because whether we are available to face any new problem or not, we must aware about that. We need a technical support as well. So these are the feasibility study, and these are the determination how to get the information and check whether the process is valid or not. Next is information gathering. Now, information gathering is a very important part of a feasibility analysis process, because once the information will be gathered, then we will check whether the information is appropriate or not. So we can say it is both art and a science. Why it is science? Because it requires a proper methodology and tool in order to be effective. And it is art as well, because it requires sort of methodology that mentally achieve the best result. So to achieve a best result, we must know about the art. No two projects are ever be same, as we all know, because if they are same, we need not to create a new one. The already existing one will be used. So no two projects will ever be same. This means the analyst must decide on the whether information gathering tool is used and which one will be used and how that will be managed. Although we can say there is no standard rules for specifying their use, as much our requirement we can modify the rules and the tools as well. So if we want to use two tools in a single project, then we can also do that, because the nested project will be done. Here various information gathering tools will be available, and these are: first one is review literature, procedure and forms. Next is on-site observation. Next is interviews, and next is questionnaire. After gathering all the information with the help of these tools, the data will be organized and a single report will be created. So let's discuss one by one. First one is review of the literature, procedure and a form. Very few system problems are unique, right? But here, as the name suggests, we have a form and we have to go through for that form. But uh, this is too much time taking, because we have to find out with the help of learning or a manual process, and the manual process also are time taking as well as expensive one. So very few system problem have a unique. The increasing number of packages suggests that problem solution and become standardized. There are search with the literature, manual tools and textbooks. For example, we can say there are so many publications of a single book, but we need to improve that one. Then we also create a new book, but that book is that much valuable or not. This will be checked by the searching or by proving with the manual reading. And that manual reading is difficult, because to create that one, we need so much time. So it is a time taking. Next is publication is also expensive. With the help of online methods, we can directly put them on a web and then circulate with the help of the web. So this is time taking process. Next is on-site observation. In on-site observation, we can say a fact-finding method used by a system analyst is on-site, or a direct observation we can say. It is a process of notifying the people, objects, and occurrence of the obtained information. The basic and the main objective of this is to get close as possible as real system being studied, because there is one-to-one communication and we have to observe the process directly, so we know about actual problem and actually requirements of the existing system. For this reason, it is important that analyst is a knowledgeable about general makeup and activities of a system. So there are some roles of a analyst that will search about what the actual observation required, what are the requirements the system needs. These will be done in the on-site observation. And what is the actual suspect we can say. As an observer, the analysts have to follow a set of rules, and that rules they can modify according to the observer. While making observation, they more likely to listen than talk, and has to listen with interest when information is passed on. Next is the analyst has to observe the physical layout of a current system and what is the actual location, how the movement will be done. We have to aware about that as an observer. The analyst also has to be alert on the behavior of the person who is talking and to whom they will contact, because behavior will show so many clues, and that clues helps to identify the actual problem and the actual solution. So we can say there are four alternative observation methods should be considered. First one is natural one, where the natural observation will be done in the place of the employee, or the contrary, where the some laboratory is available and we have to observation on that particular place. Next is obstructive and unobstructive. Obstructive means when the respondent knows about the observation that he is being observed, and the unobstructive means in the one-way mirror we can say. Here the observer will not aware even about the that he is being observed. So this is unobstructive. Next is direct and indirect. A direct observation means analysts actually observe the subject of a system. And indirect object, there are so many ways to observe with the help of cameras, with the help of videotapes, with the help of CCTV. So there are so many ways. With the help of these methods, then we are observing, then it is called indirect. If uh, individually I'll go and observe anyone, then it is called a direct one. Next is structured and unstructured one. In structured one, observer look and record for a specific action, but in unstructured there is no particular format for that. This is done a completely informal way. Next is interview. Here the interview is more appropriate in comparison of the on-site observation, because on-site is less effective for learning about people perception, feelings, or a motivation. So the alternative is interview, or we can say questionnaire. These both will be discussed here. The first one is interview. It is face-to-face communication where the interviewer asks a person for being interviewed a question designed to gather information about the actual problem. The interview is oldest and most often device for gathering the information. To capture information with the help of interview is done in the explanatory devices and get the information and form a report. It is there are so many advantage of this one. That first one is it is flexible, because the interviewer must be superior in comparison of the rest one, so he can identify what the actual problem is, what actually the effectiveness of the particular person standing behind him, sorry, standing in front of him. Next is it offers a better opportunity than that. Next is it is effective technique for electing information about complex subject. Many people enjoy interviewing regardless of the subject. So one-to-one communication make it impressive. But the major drawback is that it takes too much long time or a money. So lot of time and money we will have to suffer for the better knowledge or better guidance. So there are some guidelines to achieve a successful interview. Firstly, we have to set up a stage for the interview so that interviewer know about the interview will be held at particular duration or at particular time. So stage must be set up. Next is where the establishment done. Next is phrases of the question must be clear, because the interviewer must know about what he want to ask. uh, we should be a good listener. Avoiding arguments must be there so that the uh, employee will say at least what he want to say. Last is evaluate the outcome of the interview on the basis of any parameters that we are selecting. We will done with the help of that to evaluating the outcome. Last is questionnaire round. uh, this tool has a collection of questions to the individual response. The advantage of basically we can say about it is economical and requires less skill to the administrator than the interview, because unlike the interview which generally questions on subject at a time, a questionnaire can be administered to a large number of individuals simultaneously. Here, the standardized wording or the order of the questions and the standardized instruction for the reporting response ensure uniformity of the question. So there must be a uniform pattern for that, and that pattern will be help in achieving the success. The respondent feel greater confidence in comparison of the interview round. There are some ways with the help of questionnaire round will be done. For example, we will do it with the help of fill in the blanks, where they seek for a specific response. We can say it is yes or no question round that contain whether the value is yes or a no. So no mixed response will be there. And next is ranking scale. Here if there is any question and we have to rank 1 to 5, so this is the ranking question where the rank will be assigned to the particular answer, that is for example A to E or 1 to 5 or any pattern else. Next is multiple choice questions. There are multiple answers, we have to select the correct one among them. So this is the questionnaire way we have to then. Now the both the method interview and questionnaire round both are appropriate, but the questionnaire round we can say is less sorry, interview round is less economical in comparison of the questionnaire round, and the chances of error will be fewer in questionnaire round in comparison of error, because in interview we have to face one to one communication with the interviewer, and we will get lose our confidence and uh, done any mistake due to pressure. But in questionnaire round there is no pressure at all. We will deal with our particular work, so there is no pressure and the chances of error will be reduced. So this is all about today lecture. Thank you.